Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using some pattern paper from Honeybee Stamps. I have their Marvelous Moments collection and also their brand new Grain and Grunge collection. For images on the card, I'm using the Lovely Layers Fall Foliage set. This has quickly become one of my favorite fall sets to use. For sentiment, I'll be doing some hot foiling, and I'm using the Fall Foliage Hot Sentiments foil plate. And the final item I'll be using is the Rattan Basket Honeycut die set. Several of the items are from the brand new Spooktacular release, but a few of them are from a previous Honeybee Stamps release. I will be using a card sketch for inspiration. This is from MFT, it's number 408. I selected one of the wood grain pattern papers for the larger element on my card, then used two narrow strips of pattern paper from the Marvelous Moments collection. So it's a very soft pink and then a beautiful brown wood grain pattern paper. I'm layering everything on some dark brown cardstock, put some ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. I cut out the rattan basket from some craft cardstock, and I'm adding just a little bit of ink to the very edges using the Sandcastle ink color by Catherine Pooler. For the back piece of the basket, you really won't see very much, so I only added ink to the very top. But for the front piece, I did add more ink to the outside edge and a little bit more toward the center. Now I'll adhere the back portion of the basket down onto my card using Honeybee Stamps Precision Tip Glue. And I've cut out all of these beautiful fall foliage pieces from the Lovely Layers Fall Foliage set. And I used some pearlescent cardstock for all of those pieces. A few of the images in this set have a couple of die cuts you'll glue together, and it adds even more detail to those beautiful pieces. And I know it's harder to see in the video, but all of the images have a beautiful etch detail, and it really shows more with the pearlescent cardstock. So now I'll start adding all of my fall foliage pieces inside of the basket. For the images that required multiple die cut pieces, I did put my acrylic block on top for added weight while the glue adheres. It does take just a little bit longer since I'm adhering two pearlescent surfaces together. For most of the pieces, I'll put some liquid adhesive just on the lower portion, and with my fingers I'll curl up the top area of the leaf, and I'll add just that little bit of dimension. For the front two pieces, I'll put some foam dimension on the back and adhere them in front of the leaves. I did hold up the front of the basket to make sure all of those images would still be visible. So once I have my basket full of the beautiful fall foliage, I can add the front of the rattan basket. I added 4 small pieces of foam dimension, then I'll put liquid adhesive along the very outside of that basket front. And that'll make it look like the basket is round. Now it's time to work on the sentiment. I'm using Spellbinder's Glimmer machine to do the hot foiling, and I selected the sentiment Hello. I'm using the Rose Gold Glimmer foil color, and the cardstock I'll be using is from Ranger. This is the Yupo White Heavystock cardstock. I've tried several different cardstocks for hot foiling, and so far this one is my favorite. I'm still very new to hot foiling, so if you have a favorite brand of cardstock you use, let me know in the comments. I'm not going into a lot of detail about the hot foiling process. I do have another video where I talked more about that, and I'll add a link at the end of this video. Once that sentiment has cooled, I'll use the coordinating dies to cut it out. And I'm using some low tacky tape to hold that die to the paper. To cut it out, I'll use Honeybee Stamps Bitty Buzz Cutter. I love the small size of this die cut machine. Using the same outline die, I'll cut out a second piece from some brown cardstock, and I'll glue those two together, leaving a drop shadow of that brown cardstock underneath the sentiment. To adhere it to the card, I'll put some foam dimension on the very right side of the sentiment and liquid adhesive on the left side. And that'll help keep it at the same level with that little bit of foam dimension in the middle of the basket. I love the beautiful shine from the hot foiling, and it really is easy to do. To finish up the card, I'll add some gem stickers. These are from the Marvelous Moments collection. Put 3 of them around the sentiment. So there is my finished card, and I did end up making a total of 12. I used 3 different wood grain papers and 3 different pattern papers for the narrow strips, and I was able to make 4 of each of the cards. There are so many beautiful wood grain designs, it was hard to choose just one, so I decided to go for 3. With the larger 6 by 8.5 inch size of Honeybee Stamps paper pads, it's easy to make multiples of the same card. And it never hurts to have lots of general sentiment cards on hand. If you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, I do have links provided in the description box below. The new Spooktacular release from Honeybee Stamps has so many beautiful fall items, and I love making fall cards. It's my favorite season of the year. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.